Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to another GFD, Guerilla Football Denver. I'm Liv Moods, joined by Nate Jackson, who is coming back from practice today. Broncos practice.
That's right.
And what'd you see out there? How you feeling? What's the emotion? Let's start with that. One word. If you had to describe practice today in one word, what would that word be?
Hot. It's hot out there.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's more weather,
I
but
was
like,
gonna say it is like 90 something degrees. That's probably why. But
yeah, and it's like the dog days of camp. It's like, you're a week in, maybe even more now, like a week and a half in. So you're really sore as a player. You're pushing through that soreness. You're kind of sick of hitting each other. I mean, it's not like we've talked about this before. The schedule isn't as strenuous as it used to be. They're not practicing twice a day. There are CBA regulations that make sure that they don't spend too much time on the field.
do you think Sean Payton would have them out there
Oh,
twice
absolutely.
a day?
He's an old school guy.
Yeah,
he's a Bill Parcells old school guy.
Yeah.
We want to develop.
He probably
the
hates those
callous.
regulations.
He absolutely does. So he's been stretching it as absolutely as far as he can. Take it, if we can have 95 minutes out there today, we're going to take 94 and 59 seconds. And so he wants to get every moment of practice time that he can. And I agree with him because
it's a lot of work to be done, Broncos
and you have a
country.
young quarterback who you got to get as many reps as you can to. And we're going to talk about that, I know, but to me, it wasn't all about the quarterback out there. They're out in helmets and shoulder pads, so that's shells. They don't have the
hence the word hot.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think to me, the most exciting thing for me was that Javonte Williams looks to me like the clear-cut number one running back that we all hope he is. And I was one of the guys who was like seeing him in minicamp, like, oh gosh, he's put on weight. He doesn't look like himself. Clearly, Sean Payton talked to him.
He heard you talking shit.
Yep. He got fat shamed.
And he's like, I have had it.
He got fat shamed by everyone.
And how dare you fat shame in 2024? What
I
are you,
know.
insane?
Well, it worked, didn't it? It worked.
There's actually there is something to say about that. I've actually always joked. I'm the oldest of four. My youngest sister is about to go into high school for her first year. And, we've just become very sensitive as a society. I feel like, you're always trying to say the right thing or avoid saying the wrong thing. And, I was thinking, my sister's all worried about high school and she's worried about the bullies. And I'm like, listen, bring bullying back a little bit, because it does make you tough. And sometimes a fat shame comment here and there may work, may not always work. So, got to be a little respectful. But listen, he heard the noise.
Yeah, you're saying that bullies do serve a purpose in our society. And like I agree with you to an extent, like
some of it's out of control. Don't get me wrong.
Someone needs to shove Elon Musk into a locker. That's what I'm saying.
There's some people that need swirlies.
Yes. And
I'm not saying everybody.
Mark Zuckerberg is one of them. Someone needs to walk.
He's got a list because he's just name dropping.
The tech elite.
Yeah.
The ones who are shoving us into digital lockers.
Right.
And turning us all into
They've turned into
robots.
bullies, and I don't
Exactly.
like it.
They're the bullies.
Yeah, I agree.
And now Mark Zuckerberg, I hate to go off on a tangent here, but Mark
But it's
Zuckerberg
good
is
stuff.
Also like a jiu-jitsu champion now. Like he has a black belt. Like what?
He's trying to control the mind,
to?
And he's got a black belt. I don't trust it.
But there's no way he's tough. There's no way. So he paid a bunch of people to train him and then give him a black belt.
I guess so.
Anyway.
And it worked. Where can I sign up for a black belt? Where can I get my black belt? Zuckerberg? Please tell me.
Jiu-Jitsu.com. Yes.
Cool. And it's actually attached to Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
You just go in and you just type in black belts near me, and then
you take off your meta goggles and you realize you just choked out a couch cushion. That's basically what happens.
Or your like pet or something that you shouldn't have,
like,
Yeah.
Oh, Sparky. Okay. Sparky's dead.
So this all started with Javonte Williams. I'm not sure how we got here, but
so
he heard the comments, he heard the noise, and
I think he dropped about 10 pounds.
Which is great.
And he's just looking fast. He's looking quick. I mean, he had a couple runs today that were just getting right up through the hole.
That's
I think,
so awesome.
we're attributing that a little bit also to the offensive line improving after a week, like we talked about it last week. The first couple of days, the defense just attacks, right? They attack because they know that the offense is really simple.
Right.
The first couple of days, they're not doing any play action stuff. They're really hungry. And then it starts to even out, at the end of the first week. And now the whole playbook is in almost. Yep. And so there's a lot of play action stuff. And so the defense can't just pin back their ears and say, we're just coming forward. Well, they got to be ready to go side to side or, think it's a run, it's going to be a pass. So anyway.
Sounds like this is a group of smart football players that Sean Payton, like he's really focusing on, like almost taking them back and making them perfect their craft. Like,
yeah.
I think it's one thing. And again, I have never played football, so let me not pretend like it's just like as easy as 1, 2, 3. But I do feel like there's an ounce of to me watching it. There's like 2 parts to football. There's just that part of football, but there's also the educate, like the school part of football.
yeah.
There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to know, and I feel like Sean Payton is getting that knowledge of the game back to the Broncos.
Yeah, and he's the teacher. He's the cerebral guy, and he employs assistant coaches to be the guys. And he's got those guys out there.
You need both.
He's got those guys out there, and they're annoying as shit. Especially one of them. I'm not gonna name him, but he's like
Let's try to guess who's he talking about.
There was a player who got into it with this coach today because this coach won't stop coaching, and like. There's some coaches who just want to yell all the time so the other coaches see him coaching, and it's like there's no one coaching harder than me.
We call that try hard.
Yeah, this guy's the
it's annoying.
Ultimate try hard guy. And one of our young receivers got yelled at by this dude today for something really stupid, and then he stood up for himself. He's like, "That's bullshit," and they were going back and forth.
Do you think that there is, because you've got the old school people that are like, you never talk to your elders like that. You always respect your authority. But do you think that there is a world where it's like, no, some of these coaches need to be checked a little bit?
I do.
Like today.
Sometimes, you don't really like maybe he doesn't even realize he's pushing it too far until because you don't want to demoralize your players. You don't want them to start hating coming out there. Josh McDaniels did that, in a couple different places and made it miserable. You want these guys to still have some joy, some fun out there playing, get off their backs a little bit. You don't have to say something every single play. And you know what I mean? And that's what this guy's doing. So I think it's good that this young dude pushed back a little bit. I think that was maybe made the coach, self-reflect a little bit on what he was doing. But back to Sean Payton, the teacher. Absolutely.
Yep.
He talks about all these situations and he's prepared. Like several times today at practice, he called the team up and like talk through what just happened in all these different contexts. He really likes to be that guy. But there's a fine line between the and the brain.
Yes.
And sometimes there's too much mental stuff and you go out there and you're thinking and then you just get your ass kicked.
Right.
So
and you don't want that.
Yeah. And so offenses, especially because the game plans can be difficult and they want the quarterbacks to do all these certain things. And even receivers, like such complex route trees and like if they're in this, you run this. If they do this, you do this. If your brain explodes, right?
Yeah, there's only so much you can handle. Yeah,
you want to be able to play fast,
right?
So there's that part of it. But the training camp is for learning, and it is for making mistakes. And so they did a move the ball 2-minute period at the very end, in which they, most of these periods are scripted. It's like 10 plays from the same spot, so it's not very situational. They did a 2-minute drill at the end, gave Bo Nix the first team reps, and gave him an opportunity to move down the field into field goal range at the end of the second quarter. There was a clock up there and all that. 2 timeouts, 1 minute and 48 seconds on the clock. They're down 6-0. It's at the end of the second quarter. We want to see how you handle this, right? And I think he did okay. Wasn't awesome. And then Jarrett Stidham got to run with the twos, did fine. But there was that stuff today. To me, I'm watching these quarterbacks play, and we're all like, who's doing better, Bo Nix or? But they're all sort of looking the same. And to me, they're all scared to make mistakes out there. They're playing so technical and tight. The camps I was at, we're throwing the ball, man. We're throwing the ball downfield and let's go try to make a play. And if it's incomplete or if it's an interception,
you were safe to make
no big deal.
Error.
But now if you throw an interception and you open your phone afterwards, it's all over the internet about how you did this stupid thing. So it's a lot more pressure right now on these guys to be perfect. And I think Sean Payton also puts that pressure on them to make the perfect decision. And so I don't know how much you learn about these guys when you do that. Yes, you learn about the cerebral part, but you learn about the dog in them.
Yeah, if anything, I would like to see you F up now than F up later.
Yeah.
I don't want you so tightly wound that then come week 1, when it really matters, you feel like you're a robot and you can't ever make an error. Make the errors. Yeah, right. But I think that that's the downside sometimes of these quarterback competitions. Like sometimes I just wish that the coach would say, here's who I'm going with. I'm sticking with my guns. This is your QB. Because it gives that quarterback a chance to go, okay, this is my job. I need to still do what I'm doing, but it's okay if I make an error, especially right now, especially in these weeks of practice and training camp. You see on Twitter or X, whatever the frick it's called, you see that people are, already listing out quarterback interceptions, to your point. And it's like training camp stats. I'm not sure when they became so, unless it's the Cowboys and it's Dak Prescott, then we most certainly count interceptions because why not? But yeah, I don't know. I think that that's part of why I feel like there just needs to be a decision made. and I get it. It's a process, and you kind of want that competitiveness as well to push them, but
Well,
I
it
feel
might
like
be
you
made
just
soon. It might be
I
made
hope
soon.
so,
They got a preseason game in 9 days.
which is crazy that
Yeah,
we're already there.
and so they're having a practice that's supposed to be pretty simulative. Is that a word? Simulative?
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
a real game
If
like
it's not,
tomorrow.
it is one now, so there.
Exactly. Put it in Webster's. But no, they're gonna do some real game scenario stuff tomorrow, apparently.
Okay.
And then on Monday, there's some folks who think that like whoever's starting on Monday is gonna be. I don't really know. 'Cause Sean Payton's a quirky
Yeah,
dude.
tell
He wants to
tell
keep
us
people
this
guessing.
inside information,
here's the
huh?
deal.
What's going on there?
He wants to maintain an air of mystery
Mhm.
because the sooner you name that person, the sooner your opponent, Seattle, for week 1
Starts watching film.
starts game planning for this person, right? So I think he likes the mystery. He likes, being
Do
the
you
guy
think
pulling the
they
strings.
know? Do you think the quarterbacks know who is QB1 right now?
I think they probably start having
Is
a
there
feeling.
a world where Sean Payton keeps it private to the public? Nothing really stays private anymore these days, but keeps it private to the public, but the quarterback room knows what that hierarchy looks like.
I think they might have a feeling because you
Okay.
start to feel things in a room, like when you do something on the field and then you go in the room and watch it on film,
Mhm.
and the way your coach coaches up different guys, you start to
Yep.
feel who they like the most.
Oh yeah.
And here's an example, which was like we had a rookie tight end when I was playing named Tony Scheffler, and our coach used to like ride him so hard, like our position coach Tim Brewster, and he would just everything Tony would do, he would get on him about it. It was just nothing was good enough, and he would just curse him out every day. And he'd see him on film, and he'd be like, "What the fuck is that, Tony? And then like one day we were watching film. And he sees Tony on the screen. He's like, "What the fuck is that, Tony? You call that a block?" And we were like, "That's not Tony, coach. That's Essay." And Essay was our starter. And he's like,
So you just hate me. You
"No."
literally just hate
But
me.
then he's
then.
like, "Oh, good block, Essay. That was good." And we went on to the next play. So he just wanted to rip Tony just because he wasn't happy with Tony.
See that? Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And so there's favorites that happen.
Yeah,
there.
and I was a coach of a high school dance team for the last 3 years, and you really do try to avoid having favorites, but I also think your personality just meshes better with
Yeah.
some people versus others, and I've had coaches in my, career that just didn't gel with. I respected them, and I
Yeah.
hope that they respected me, but we didn't
Yeah,
vibe.
same.
So Sean Payton may be vibing more with one than the other and
And I
making
think it
a
is Bo.
little
I think
bit.
it's Bo Nix. I think that's why they drafted him.
I think so.
You
Why
know, and
would
I
you draft him if you weren't gonna?
Right. Right.
I don't
And
know.
like I said, no one is clearly winning out there, in my
Right.
opinion.
Which I think at one point we talked about that would be a good thing to have an obvious.
I think because it would no
It
longer
would-
be a battle. It'd be obviously everyone's sort of gravitating towards the guy who's playing best. But I think that's also a product of what I was talking about, the way they're coached, and they're so afraid to make a mistake, and they're all getting drilled into it like robots. Like, this is what you do on this. Like, I'm watching these guys play 7-on-7. 7-on-7 is no lineman. It's just a passing.
Right.
It's a passing drill. It's not a passing drill, but it's a passing period where the big boys are off doing big boy stuff over there. And this is just, linebackers, DBs, and it's running backs, tight ends, receivers, and the quarterback. And so every play is a passing play. And so you get to throw the ball every play. That's the fun part. Just pick a guy and throw it on time. But these guys, even on this drill, are like overthinking it. They hit their back foot. They don't like it. It's not perfect. And so they bounce around a little bit and then they hit a check down or they run. And it's like, this is 7-on-7, man. Just pick the guy you like and throw the
and yeet
ball. Get it to him, because not only like, okay, so if I'm looking at this play, it's not about just the quarterback.
Right.
It's about the receiver. Like, if he's covered and you like him, throw it to him. And will he catch it? Is this a guy who's going to make those plays for you? We don't know unless we try.
Right.
What about that DB? Is he a ball hawk? Is he a dog? We're not going to know unless we throw a 50-50 ball that way.
Right.
So it doesn't always have to be looked through the lens of getting the quarterback better. What about the rest of the team? Sean Payton talks
team
about
sport.
It is.
Hate to break the news to you guys. But,
right? It's not about the one, it's about the 53.
Right. I think I should be out there. 53. One of 53.
What position would you play?
Hype man.
Okay, that you're taking up a roster spot, so you better be pretty valuable.
Oh, trust me when I say, I think there were times last year that I felt like if you just put me in that locker room, Sean, I think I could turn this thing around.
Can you give me an example of like a speech that you would give at halftime if the team was behind?
Like Nike, just do it.
And then you just walk out.
There's jobs out there that need to be done. You're not doing them.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
because as far as I'm concerned, you guys make a lot of money.
Mm,
And if Joe Schmo at his 9 to 5 isn't doing his job, guess what? He gets fired.
mm. Does he though? Because like there's a lot of
Well-
Joe Schmoes not doing a good job out there. Nobody's keeping
Well,
them, like nobody's watching
yeah,
them on
well,
film and then
You
taking.
might be onto something there, but in a perfect world, Joe Schmoes would lose their job if they weren't doing it. Okay.
That's true.
So yeah, like Nike, just do it. It's very simple. You don't need these hype talks don't need to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
You're hired.
Yeah. So
All
Sean,
right.
let me know.
Get her a locker.
Let me know when you need me because I am available. All right. So on the quarterback conversation,
Yeah.
which I'm very excited and happy to hear about Williams, because you have made mention that the best way to set up a rookie quarterback for success is to have a reliable run game.
That's right.
Williams, back to his college weight,
Yep.
looking good, looking fast, looking sharp, which is
Yep.
obviously probably a peace of mind for Sean Payton, knowing
Yeah,
that you've
big
got
time.
that behind Bo Nix, if that's who you go with.
Because you got Jaleel McLaughlin as well as your kind of second change of pace back, and then you got Audric Estime, who you drafted, who you like, which might leave Samaje Perine as the odd man out there.
Seen some whispers about people thinking that Perine might be.
Or trade bait or something, but
Yeah.
it's hard. But
Hard.
that's the way it goes. There's going to be a couple veterans that get cut, and it's going to be like, damn. I mean, Tim Patrick could be one as well.
I was just about to ask about Timmy.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's really his full name. But
Timothy.
What are we doing with Timothy?
Uh,
What is it looking like with Tim right now?
yeah, so I mean,
Because
as
we
much
said
as we all
quiet
root for him-
leader, we need
Yeah.
a vocal leader, we need a quiet leader. Tim is that quiet leader that I think this offense could use. But
Yeah.
if he's not producing, delivering, then what do you do with Timmy?
Yeah, he's been pretty quiet out there. I mean, to be honest, I didn't see him out there a lot. I don't know if he took a little time today. Like he was out, he was suited up, but I don't know if he
Right.
was like, because I didn't see him in there a lot. I haven't seen him make a lot of plays. Sean Payton talked about him, and he said that I don't need to see it every day, but I do need to see it. And I haven't seen, but I've only been out there 3 days. So
Yeah, but do you think that if Sean Payton's saying that means he hasn't seen it either?
yeah, I mean that was last week, but yes, because there's some young guys who are making plays out there. Devon Vele, who's wearing 81, Tim's old number, and looking a lot like the young Tim Patrick, is having a really good
Could you
camp.
imagine?
He's having a really good camp.
Could you imagine somebody wears your old number and looks
Yeah.
like a younger, better version of you?
Yeah, they're like, Tim. No, it's not Tim. I'm over here, guys.
I'm over here
12.
very quiet, not
Yeah.
making plays.
But you feel for him because, like, his body, he's 30.
I
He's,
know.
and it starts to be a numbers game
Yeah.
about Tim Patrick's role on a 53-man roster, because 45 guys suit up for the game. And if you're on like one of those, like if you're like the number 5 or 6 receiver, which he sort of is looking like he would be, then you're not going to suit up unless you're playing special teams, and that's not probably what he would be doing.
Mm-mm.
So it's a numbers. Like, remember we talked about that before, and so he's got to start. Yeah, and he said, and I'm not saying it's over for him, because there's a world in which they keep him as the 6th receiver and he doesn't suit up for games, but he's on the roster until he can work his way back, be in full, and then there's an injury, and then he kind of. So who knows what they'll do? He's cheap. He's not costing him a lot of money.
Right.
But at the same time, this is a young team. There's young receivers out there making plays in the heat, going up and catching balls, and I haven't seen Tim do that yet. So we're all crossing our fingers, hoping that he gets back to that form.
We need that.
Yeah, exactly. Because the presence he has in the locker room is very valuable to a team.
Well, and when I think about leaders too, it makes me want to ask you one more thing before we start diving into some. We have 2 AFC divisions we're going to talk about today, and we're going to rank them together. But what are your thoughts on Justin Simmons at this point in time?
Yeah.
Does it feel a little crazy that we haven't seen him picked up yet? I saw some Bills Mafia members that weren't super happy because I think they went with Kareem. And they were like, what about Justin? That felt really stupid. Why are we leaving him out? Why is he just, he's still got a house out here.
Yeah.
I don't think he plans on leaving Denver until he needs to. So what are we thinking about him?
I think there's teams trying to get him, and they're having negotiations with his agent. He just is asking for more money than these teams want to give or have to give right now. And a lot of them are healthy, and they have healthy safeties that they've already thought about Justin, decided to move in a different direction, either sign somebody or drafted somebody that they like, and now they're trying to see those guys through.
Yeah.
Now, at some point in the next couple of weeks, one of these safeties on one of these teams is going to get hurt, and they are going to call
Justin's phone's going to ring
with a little bit more money this time. and he's going to get to probably decide. But the risk is that the longer you wait, the more out of football shape you fall.
Absolutely.
Like the game passes you by pretty fast. Like when I got cut by the Broncos in early 2009, I spent that whole offseason out of the game, training to get back, had a couple workouts, ended up getting signed to the Browns at the very end of training camp. I wasn't like, my hamstring was about ready to pop for good.
Off the bone.
Yeah.
You talked about that
So
already.
I was like not tip top shape, but at the same time, I went there in the middle of camp. These boys were sharp, they were crisp, they were in shape, and I'm just like, I just felt like it was moving pretty fast.
Like you felt like an old guy.
I did.
Grandpa out there.
Yeah, Grandpa Jackson at 30 years old. So it passes.
Isn't that crazy though that it really does? Like we talk about guys like, okay, even LeBron. Okay, not LeBron for NBA is pretty old, but like 40's not old. He's almost 40, but 40's not old in my opinion. But in basketball, he needs a walking stick. He's so old.
Still jumping just as high almost. It's crazy.
Oh, I know. He's balling.
What would LeBron
everybody.
look like though if he never did anything to his hair, didn't dye his beard, anything? He would look so much older.
Yeah, I've actually always thought that LeBron should just get rid of the hair that he's really like grasping at to keep.
What? It's
the hair's fighting you. Just let you just need put it out of its misery.
Procedures, though, I think. Yeah.
It's misery.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Anyway, okay. Enough about old people. As a young lad out here, we can keep it young and fresh around here. I'm a 98 baby.
I got all you old folks over here.
Yeah, if you're old tuning in, Nate's probably more your speed.
I'm your guy.
I'm a 98 baby, so the young crowd.
I graduated high school in 97, Liv. So
yikes. All right. There you have it. I was actually, today's show is just to make Nate feel extremely old.
Yeah.
That was the whole purpose. So there we go. Mission accomplished.
Yes.
Okay, so overall, happy about what we're seeing with Bo. Obviously, he's not perfect, but would rather him start making some mistakes now than make them later. So maybe he's almost too robotic, too perfect at this
He's
point
just trying
to
please his masters right now, and make everyone happy. And at some point, like, the reins will come off and it's game time. And so the question is, when do you want him to play in a real game? Do you want him to just take take over week one, or do you want to like let Jarrett Stidham start it off? I'm in favor of just letting Bo start because
let him start.
Yeah, because there's no expectations for this team. Everyone thinks they're going to suck, so let them suck. Okay,
yeah,
let them suck together.
Vegas doesn't think they're winning more than 5 games.
Yeah, and PFF, or as I call them, because they're stupid. So
dumb.
Yeah, has them as the 32nd ranked roster in the league, worst in the league.
Wrecked.
Exactly.
Poof.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
We don't care what you think.
No, there's a bunch of English dudes anyway.
And neither does Sean, by the way.
No. Unproven is what I would say about this roster.
Well, definitely.
Not necessarily bad, right?
Sometimes being unproven and being underestimated, that could be a really good combo sometimes.
That's true. And they're galvanizing.
They can work in your favor.
That. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think they'll take some folks by surprise. But the quarterback position is going to matter for them. So
absolutely.
But I want them to grow together because we talk about all these young players that they have out there. Well, put Bo Nix out there, and he's another one of the young guys, and he can build towards the future. And then maybe this year is not the year, but in next year and the year after that and the year after that, then you start to really see something special happening. And then you'll be happy that you went through what you went through this year and gave him the reps from day one.
Amazing. So let's start with Bo.
Excuse me.
That's our recommendation, if you care, Sean. Which you should, because I'm your hype man, and
he's listening.
And he knows what's up. So
Sean,
there you go. I do want to talk about some divisions with you, two to be particular, to be exact.
Yep.
AFC West and AFC South. Now, I do have some odds just from Vegas pulled up to kind of get a feel for what does Vegas think about these two divisions? What does Vegas think is going to happen? As of now, we'll start with the AFC South because we've been talking about the Broncos, so we'll take a little break. Houston is the favorite right now to win the division. Right behind them is the Jags.
Oh.
Colts at 3. Titans, womp womp, at 4. Right off the bat, I do agree with Texans in 1. I really, really like CJ Stroud, but if you're willing to push back, I'm willing to listen.
I'm pushing back.
Huh.
I'm pushing back.
Come on. I'm actually such a fan of CJ Stroud.
Oh, I'm not saying I'm not a fan.
Okay? No, it feels like you're about to be a hater.
Not a hater on CJ Stroud. I think they might take a step back this year from what they did last year. I think they caught a lot of people by surprise.
Right.
They won a lot of close games that maybe they might not, every year.
Yeah.
The Broncos were one of those games. Broncos should have beat the Texans in Houston with Russell Wilson. And they had a really off, and that would have extended their winning streak to 6 games.
Yeah, that was an irritating game for sure.
Yeah. And so So I think Houston, what was their record last year? 10-7? Yeah, I think it was 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they might take a step back, be more of like an 8-9 type of team this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so who would you put ahead of them?
I think I would put the Jags.
I think you're full of it. I actually remember when I said he knows so much. I don't believe he does right now because
The Jags are a pretty good team
I think I'd put the Colts ahead of the Jags.
with Anthony Richardson at the helm.
Yeah.
He said, what, he had 2 games before he got hurt?
What's your problem? He's unproven.
What's your problem? That's true.
He's
That's true.
unproven and
Yeah.
underestimated.
But they have a new
That's
head
a
coach.
good combo.
They have a new head coach as well.
Sometimes that can be good, no?
Sometimes it can be, but it takes a while to turn things around. Young quarterback, very inexperienced, new coaching staff. There's just like
A lot of unknowns.
to me, that doesn't equal playoff team, in my opinion.
So we can both agree the Titans are at 4.
Yeah.
So let's start there.
Yeah. That's a new coach as well.
Tennessee's at 4.
Yeah.
So you would put the Colts at 3?
Yeah. I think the Colts will probably be like a 7-10 type of team. Yeah. What?
What? Excuse me?
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
That's how I
PFF,
feel. Yeah,
yeah.
PFF to you. I don't know. I really CJ Stroud got a few new weapons.
Who's his new weapons?
Don't disrespect Diggs like that.
Okay. Oh, that's right. That's right. But he's also
This guy.
he can also be disruptive as well, Diggs, because
Yeah, he could.
a
'cause
lot
I
of times,
I do
like-
sense he kind of has an attitude problem sometimes.
yeah, you think? Yeah,
Yeah, I do.
for
I
sure.
think so.
And so you go into a situation where you have something building that's nice, and then you put
Mhm.
someone in there that's like, no, I want the ball. I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, but
and
did
all
you
of a
see
sudden
that
it's
little
like-
brawl that they had
No.
at camp? They had a big fight break out, and what happened was there was a really big hit on Diggs,
Oh,
and I can't remember the name of the player that stepped up and defended him against the defense because
That's
the
good.
defense kind of knocked him around a little bit. So that felt good to me, knowing
Yeah.
that the offense is kind of already
yeah.
protective over Diggs, because I do think he can be a very polarizing guy.
Well, it's protective over.
Maybe he just needed to
obviously
get
they
out
don't
of
hate him.
Buffalo.
They don't hate him, but
No.
it's protective over an offensive player who gets a cheap shot on him.
Yeah.
Like I got when I was a young free agent receiver for the Niners trying to
Mhm.
make their team. I got in a fight at training camp, and that started a
You
brawl.
violent?
brawl.
Oh my gosh.
So my whole
How
offense
horrible.
ran to my my defense, and then
Good.
the cool thing about it was it's all on camera, And so later that night at the meetings, we watched it in slow motion, the fights and stuff. And we're judging everybody's fighting skills.
How was your
and-
form? and
Well, it was
skill?
fine. It was I started it, or me and the guy started. It wasn't my fault. This guy was picking on me. He thought I was this D3 receiver, this
He was
white.
a bully, but we're trying to bring those back a little.
Yeah. Well, he made me tougher.
See?
I had a longer
Look.
career than he did.
See?
So what's up?
What's up,
Bring
bullies?
back the bullies, the real life bullies,
What's up,
not the
bullies?
digital bullies.
Okay, so how are we going to settle this AFC South? Because I think you're wrong.
Well, I think you're wrong.
Well, that's not nice.
So I think
It's
it's
okay
going
for
to be
me
the
to think you're wrong, but
Jags. Jags are
think
going
I
to be
am.
10-7. The Houston 8-9, Indy 7-10, and then Titans are going to be 5-12.
to be honest, I think Trevor Lawrence is severely overpaid, and I really tried to give him a chance, and I tried to be like, this is his year. I even had him in my top 10 list last year. I was
Yeah.
like, this is going to be a great, and it wasn't. And he lets me down. He fails me every time.
I'm actually with
I'm
you there.
sick of
I
it.
don't think if they make the playoffs, well, they obviously will. The winner of the division makes the playoff, but I think he chokes in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to take him far. He might lose the
and
first
to me,
round.
CJ Stroud as a rookie was
Yeah.
very cool, calm,
He was.
collected.
He was. I'm just saying they got very lucky last year with no injuries, and they took some people by surprise. They won some close games that they might not usually. I'm just saying, I think they got fortunate last year, and I think they'll take a little step back this year, maybe 9-8.
Yeah, give him a little more respect. All right.
9-8.
Just a little. So my list for the AFC South is the Texans, then the Colts, then the Jags, then the Titans. Yours is
Yeah, Jags, Texans, Colts, Titans.
so we agree on the Titans being
The shitty ones.
the shitty ones.
Yeah.
We can't agree about who's coming out on top though. So all right, well, we'll leave
We'll
that
put
there.
that in the back burner.
We'll make that a little social post, and we'll see who's got more fans
Yeah.
on this one.
Yeah, I think they're going to be with me. Liv. I
It
know
wouldn't be
everyone
the
loves
first time.
CJ Stroud,
Listen,
but
it wouldn't be the first time that, the internet, how we talk about Diggs being a very polarizing player.
Yeah.
I like to think I'm a very polarizing content creator.
well, that's by design, is it not?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get all sensitive and stuff, but other days, yeah, it's by design.
Has it ever made you cry?
You know what? Joy Taylor.
Yeah.
She was my mentor when I first began, still is, but her best piece of advice to me was do not read the comments, good or bad, because if you read too many good ones,
Yeah.
you think that you're just chilling. You don't have to improve at all. You don't have to change anything. And if you read too many bad ones, you lose your confidence. You
Yeah.
lose your spark. You lose your energy. So I just don't read
You don't read 'em?
comments. I don't read them.
That's great.
Because you know what? The haters can't get under my skin if I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and then of course my family members will get,
They'll-
did you see
yeah.
what they said? I'm like,
You're like,
no,
"No."
I didn't. And that's by design. I
That's
don't
good.
like to read it. So,
Good.
I ignore. Okay, AFC West, I feel like we can agree on this one. We'll rapid fire through this. Chiefs are the favorite right now, minus
Yep.
230. I'm looking on FanDuel right now. Chargers in second at plus 350. Raiders plus 900. The Broncos, a very rude plus 2,000.
Yeah.
Dead last.
Yeah.
I think we can both agree the Chiefs are at 1.
Yes.
Oh,
I know.
sad.
It is.
I would say second. I'd maybe go Raiders at 2, which
Would
makes
ya?
me sick.
Wow.
I've had some
Can't
time to
believe
think
you're
about
doing
this.
this.
I've had time to think about this. You did talk a little bit about the Chargers.
Yeah.
You think the Chargers are going to be
Ass.
whoa?
Yeah.
Nate says with the most confidence and with his chest, he
Yeah.
says the Chargers will be ass.
I do
So,
think so.
You
Yeah.
think they're dead last?
Yeah, them and the Raiders are going to be right around 5 or 6 wins each.
Is it insane to put Broncos at 2?
I'm doing it.
I think we should. Okay, I agree. Okay,
Yeah.
Chiefs at 1.
Yep.
Broncos at 2,
Yep.
and we are not being biased. We're not. We're
No.
just we're analyzing.
Just the facts.
It's the facts of the matter.
Yeah.
We're going Chiefs 1,
Yep.
Broncos 2, Raiders 3, Chargers 4.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
agree with you there. So we
Because Sean
disagree about the
Payton-
AFC South, but
Yep.
AFC West,
Yep.
we are
We're simpatico.
aligned.
And
We're
I think the
aligned.
Sean Payton factor is going to really start to take form in year 2 because he's
Yeah.
cleaned up Nathaniel Hackett's mess.
Like we said, yeah, he
and
couldn't do his job until
Right.
he was cleaning up everybody else's
Yeah.
bad jobs. Yeah.
He's the highest paid coach in the NFL. So he
Let's see
has
it.
to he has to win some games with his coaching, with his big brain.
Walk that walk,
right?
Sean.
So, and I just think, Antonio Pierce, as much as I would like to play for him, I think he's just going to have, so he has some learning to do.
Yeah.
And he's also got a quarterback who's not, super great. And, he's got
Harbaugh.
a young tight end. He's going to try to get involved. And whenever you try to get involved with young tight ends, sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't.
Yeah.
And then Harbaugh on the other side. Yeah. Harbaugh has,
What are you thinking about him?
yeah, it's, I say I think the Chargers are going to suck. If they ended up being good, I wouldn't be totally surprised because he's a good
Okay.
football coach.
Okay.
But he's been out of the NFL for a while.
Yep.
He had 4 good seasons in San Francisco, and he got sort of run out because he just rubbed everyone the wrong way. He's kind of a weirdo, kind of a dick, kind of just like,
Not a weirdo.
yeah. And so it's like,
Are we all kind of weirdos?
we are.
Yeah. Okay.
We
Just
are.
had to get that out there.
We are. But he's a good football coach. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time for them to adjust to his style
Yeah.
and for that to kind of crystallize there. And they've been bad for so long, and they decided like kind of have this like instinctual urge to lose at the end of the game and do something stupid.
It was weird.
And
It was
like no
wild
matter who the
behavior.
coach they bring in there, there's like the same thing
thing.
happens. So is Jim Harbaugh, by the power of his personality, going to change things right off the bat? I don't really think so. And I
It's
don't
gonna
think
take time.
and I don't think Herbert is as good as everyone says he is personally.
Whoa.
Yeah, hot take. Justin Herbert, he's like, prototypical quarterback guy, but what has he won? What has he done other than like garbage time point, fantasy points? I don't know.
He's a fantasy guy.
Fantasy guy.
Justin Herbert, good fantasy guy, not so good NFL guy.
Well, like you need a balance. You need a balanced team. And
Yeah.
Are they going to have a running game? They haven't
No,
even had
that's
a running
fair.
game.
That's fair.
So I know they beat up their offensive line, and I think they will be good in a couple of years. I just think this year the Broncos have an opportunity to take some people by surprise, and I think the Broncos could go like 8-9. Beat out that 5.5 win total.
Don't get me excited now because let me tell you something. I was a little overboard with Wilson when we signed him.
Yeah, were you super excited? Do you have a Russell Wilson jersey? That's a yes. That's a yes.
My eyes are welling up with tears.
Yeah. Have you burned it? What are you gonna do? Are
I
you gonna
haven't
wear it
burned
to the
it.
game? The Pittsburgh game. You should.
Yes.
You should.
I'll probably cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, yes, I was very excited because you know why? he did do great things in Seattle. He
Oh, he
did.
did, he
And
did.
so it was like, it was just, it felt like, okay, maybe it's finally our time post
Yeah.
Manning. Like maybe this is it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't meant to be.
And then I see Bo Nix trending on Twitter,
Mm.
having these deep balls to Mims.
Deep balls.
Like, dang it. I really don't want to let myself get excited, but I might be there already.
Well, practices for creating that connection, and Mims is going to be here for a long time, hopefully, and so will Bo Nix. So I think that's something we are going to see.
All right.
Yeah, going
I
forward.
need to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so AFC West, we've got the Chiefs at 1, the Broncos at 2, the Raiders at 3, the Chargers at 4. Wow. AFC South, Liv's list, Texans at 1 because Nate's a hater.
Yep.
I've also got the Colts at 2. He's a double hater.
Double.
3, I've got the Jags because I think Trevor Lawrence is overrated. And it's hard for me to say that because I've always been a big Trevor Lawrence fan. And then 4, I've got the Titans. And Nate's list that is super wrong is
the Jags at 1. They'll probably go like 10-7. Trevor Lawrence is fine to get you there, but he's not going to win you a playoff game. And then the Texans around 8-9 or so, and then the Colts probably around 7-10 or so, and then the Titans with 5 games and 5 wins and 12 losses. But here's the deal: whoever wins the AFC
this
South
guy
is never going to.
Who invited this guy?
Whoever wins the AFC South is never going to do anything in the playoffs. They're always just like, oh, they won, and they're going to lose in the first round. AFC South is never going to.
Did the AFC South hurt your feelings?
No, I just watch it and I know that these guys.
Who from the AFC South always gave you a hard time? Which defensive player from the AFC South has you up at night?
No, we used to
nightmares.
We used to handle that. Actually, the Colts really fucked us up.
There you go.
So
that's why
Peyton
he's
Manning.
got the Colts
Yeah.
at 3
Yeah.
because he's a total hater,
Yeah.
and they used to F him up, and he's got the Colts are his sleep paralysis demon, I think.
Well,
Maybe.
when's the last time an AFC South team has made waves in the playoffs?
Not
Right?
very much, and not
No.
often, and not recently, but
No.
times have changed.
Have they?
Well, we're getting there, I think. Maybe. I don't know. So either way, we do agree on the AFC West. That's what matters.
Yes.
We will be breaking down more divisions as we continue GFD. And I believe it'll be same time. We're going to do a couple little schedule changes starting on Monday with some different shows and stuff. But I believe GFD will be staying put Monday, Friday. We're going to try to do this twice a week.
Yep.
May up it if the Broncos just start tearing it up.
Which is possible.
But Nate will be doing primary Broncos coverage, getting us some stuff from inside the stadium,
That's
talking
right.
to players, talking
That's
to
right.
coaches.
That's right.
And we'll be doing post-game lives together. I may be in the studio chatting a little bit, but then we'll send it to Nate. We've got some fun things planned, okay?
right.
And we're going to be talking all things football, all things Broncos right here on GFD twice a week, Monday, Friday, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Thanks for hanging, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.